Good afternoon, everyone. This is episode 50 of the Off Topical podcast. My name is Gardner.
My name is Raven.
And we have a lot to talk about today. Yesterday, I got my hands on the Librem 5, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the Chinese regime and how they are unduly influencing American companies. The System 76 line of laptops are now getting Coreboot by default, and so much more. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is, Raven, I got my hands on the Librem 5 yesterday. How cool is that?
I know, right? You were bragging about it for a while, and I was just like, you know what? I'm half tempted to flat bear and smack you.
You should have, man. It would have been cool.
I should have just knocked on your door and smacked you right across the face, and then went, let's go get a beer.
And then I would have brought you to the Librem 5 thing, and you would have been able to see it as well. So come on, man.
Yes.
Get on my level, man. Get on my level.
So nice.
So, all right, here's the thing. So I've seen some questions in the comments of this video, and I wanted to address them really fast. The first thing is, no, they did not leave the Librem 5 with me. I do not have a Librem 5 on me currently.
That's a bummer.
It kind of was, but I understand. This was. I'm pretty sure, if I understood Todd correctly, this device that I actually got to see was the first one to roll off the production line. So that's pretty cool. And dude, here's the other thing about this. Holy mother of God, does it feel like a freaking solid device, man? Like, I knew what they meant when they said loose tolerances in that announcement post, right? Like, loose tolerance, things aren't going to be perfectly married, and the manufacturing process still needs to be dialed in a little bit. But I swear to you, dude, it felt like a finished device to me. There was nothing about this that felt cheap or in any way unfinished.
I watched some of the video, and I skipped around a little bit. Plan to watch it later, but just haven't had time yet this morning, as you know.
Yeah.
One thing I like is it's thick. Because I was saying that, and everyone was like, "Oh, you don't want a thick phone." I was like, "Yes, actually, I do." Because I have a Samsung, and don't get me wrong, the Samsung makes great phones. Like, their phones are actually really good. They're very expensive, but they're very good.
The hardware is good.
Yeah, they have good screens. Yeah. They're durable despite their look, but it's so thin. And the problem with it being thin is, one, it gets hot as hell. There's nowhere for that thermal to go. It just burns your hands after a while. And I don't have a case on mine. Everyone's always like, "Hey, you need a case." I'm like, why? I don't drop my phone. Don't drop your phone. I know there's always that chance that an accident could happen, which is true. But I just use this thing as a phone. I don't carry it around with me everywhere I go. If I go out, it just kind of stays in my car.
Yeah.
I don't carry it, or in my pocket. I don't keep it. I don't take it out and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna look at my phone while I'm walking down the." No. No. But it's thick. It's nice. It looks like it fit good in my hands. The other thing I liked is it doesn't have really small, tiny little buttons on it that I put my thumb over, and my thumb covers up the whole button, and still has plenty of room left to continue covering up the button.
Yeah.
Because I got big hands.
Right. The thing that I don't know if you saw the part where I was holding my current phone, the Google Pixel 2, and the Librem 5 in the other hand, and aside from the thickness, they felt pretty much the same, which was crazy to me.
It's a 5 7/4 inch, something like that. I forget how big it is. It's pretty. It's a normal size screen.
Right. Yeah. The screen size was approximately the same, and the thickness, the weight,
thickness blows me away.
The weight.
The thickness is what blows me away. Is it an aluminum case, or is it a plastic
case? Okay, so here's the thing. So along the outside edge of the phone, the thick part is aluminum, or what? It's metal. I'm pretty sure it's aluminum. And then the back of the case is actually plastic. So you can pop that off. But the nice thing about this plastic is that it has like a texture to it that doesn't make it feel cheap, you know? Like sometimes you get plastic and it feels cheap.
There are pretty strong and thick plastics. You just have to purchase them. Like you have to get it manufactured.
Right.
Which, like even if you have like a 3D printer, there's different grades of plastic you can get for some of them.
Yeah.
That makes all the difference, depending on what you're doing, obviously.
Right. So do you have any questions about this? Like, do you have any things that you want to talk about with this device?
So I did watch some of it, and one thing I do want to say, and we sort of saw this in their own video, but I don't know if you remember, but initially they had announced that the software store wasn't going to be there on release.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is there on release. That's a big deal.
I asked him about that. So this is literally just a port of GNOME software.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You could tell it's just GNOME. And the best part is because GNOME spent a year or two before the Librem was even kickstarted, it was on Kickstarter. Before it was even kickstarted, they had already started making GNOME and designing all their applications to scale to various, well, pretty much any resolution, really.
Yeah. Right.
And it shows that they made good on that promise, because it's literally like, it is the software center that you are very familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't have all the applications that you might be familiar with, because you have to get the applications through Purism, and Purism probably hasn't ported over all of them yet, because it's ARM and not all of the stuff is there.
I'm not sure if it's clear in the video, but when you're looking at the software center, if you go into an app, it actually shows you what repo the app is coming from, and you can actually get the whole Debian ARM repo is available from what it looks like.
That's a pretty significant repo then.
Yeah, and so like
good old Debian to the rescue.
Right, and so the thing is, like, if you compile, if you install one of these packages, and these are system level, like these are deb packages, these aren't flat packs, and so if you install that stuff, it's gonna be like installed on your phone, and when they have convergence, like when you're able to plug in USB, HDMI converters or whatever, which isn't enabled in software yet, then you'll be able to use these apps like they're desktop apps. But because they're not compiled with libhandy, they're not going to be they're probably not going to work super great on the touch screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there were some people who were like, "Oh, I can run Blender on the Librem 5," and I'm like, well, probably, technically, anyway.
Yeah, you probably can. The issue with it is that it's not optimized yet, and displaying like that interface in particular is probably not ever going to look nice on the portrait mode.
Yeah, software like modeling software and animation software just doesn't go well to small phones.
But when they get convergence enabled, when they get the video output enabled, then you probably will be able to use it no problem.
Well, at that point though, then you have the problem of the phone just not being fast enough to do all that stuff. Because that stuff can be pretty demanding. It can be very taxing.
Be. Yeah, but I mean, the fact that you can do it in a pinch, why not?
Well, that reminds me of Samsung DeX. So I saw a video the other day of someone using the Samsung DeX, but they were using it on the Note, which is much beefier than the S10.
Yeah.
Because they were using the Note 10 or whatever it's called. I think it's the Note 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they had a docking station and stuff for it, and that's another thing. Librem 5 needs an official docking station. It really does. That's something
I
that
would
they
like
really
to see
look
something
into.
like that. Yeah.
They don't need an official one because you can just get one of those USB-C to HDMI's and it has enough. But a cool docking station where you can sit your phone down or something, or mount it to the monitor screen somehow, would be really cool. And then you can just run your cables and stuff to it and be really sweet. Anyway, because the Samsung Note probably has one of the fastest ARM processors. It's in the top tier next to Apple's high-end one and Nvidia's really nice one, their Denver line.
Yeah.
It's way up there. And they also have a pretty stout GPU for that thing. I think it has in theoretical performance, I think it's 2.5 teraflops or something, or 2 teraflops, something like that.
Right.
It's somewhere between 1.7 and 2.5. I can't remember. I guess it depends on the clock speed and everything. Anyway, dude, it runs Linux like a dream. It's freaky to see a phone just switch into that mode and then just work.
Yeah.
And and be able to access like applications that it just shouldn't be able to access, and at the same time still run Android applications.
Right.
So it's even better for gaming. I'm like, because that's the thing, right? Like phones can get as powerful as they want, but with their terrible screens, who cares? You know what I mean? Like
right.
it just doesn't matter. Another thing, they artificially limited the phone. It won't go into that mode unless you have a power hookup.
Really?
Yeah, which in a way is kind of nice, because if you think about it, running that at like 1080p plus the phone screen, which you can turn off obviously, but that would suck down power.
Oh yeah,
pretty
probably
significantly.
Yeah.
So you can also apparently receive phone calls and text messages as well when you're in that mode. Like you can continue to use your phone in its Android mode. Like it's very neat. Like it's great that Purism is doing it, but I think Samsung too is gonna make headway with that, especially if they make a thicker phone. Like they make a bigger phone that's thicker and has actual ventilation, and they could even sell a combo of like a docking station with like a nice 1080p screen and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think they could make pretty good, with USB ports and SD cards and all that sort of stuff. I think they could make pretty good headway with it.
Probably. Well, and the thing is too, like right now the only cooling that they're doing is like thermal throttling the CPU.
Oh yeah, the only cooling components they have in there is a copper or steel plate to act as a heat sink. That's pretty much all they got.
Well, they're gonna add a revised, like so he did an actual teardown for me, which I'm gonna release the video on Monday, I think, for this teardown, and it took him like 10 minutes to take it apart and put it back together. That was freaking impressive. But he showed me like that there isn't even I don't know if there is a cooling thing on the CPU right now. Like you can use it without cooling, but they said that they're working on a new heat pipe system to help with cooling the device. So hopefully they'll be able to run it at a higher clock speed with that installed, and also be able to optimize the rest of the software.
Oh yeah, hit it from both ends is definitely the best way to get a smoother phone.
Yep.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Asus makes the ROG, which actually has the exact same hardware that's in the S10 and the Note.
Okay.
And they claim they have it running at overclocked with no thermal throttling. And
Wow.
they have a full copper heatsink in it, and they have a ventilation port in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that would be an amazing phone if it had Samsung's DeX on it, because that would actually make it useful. Because they designed it, the Asus ROG, just for what's the ROG 2? Or the Asus Phone ROG 2. It's such a stupid name.
Yeah.
But they designed it for phone gaming and stuff, and it's really nice. It has 144 hertz screen and stuff like that, or 120 hertz. Like it's a pretty stout little phone, and has a huge battery in it. But I feel like it's missing its full potential as like a portable computer, like a true tiny ass little portable computer that you could just cart around. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like that. Because me, I'm not a big fan of like phone gaming or phone anything, but I feel like that has the potential to change everything. Like portable phones.
Portable phones. Mm.
Yeah, sorry. I meant portable phones that function as... I stopped in my train of thought there, sorry.
Yeah, no.
What I meant to say was portable phones that function as a computer. Because like if you think about it, a lot of companies do give their employees, particularly their higher up employees, cell phones.
Yeah.
And like if you work in sales, your company pretty much gives you, for the most part, a phone, because you're traveling, and it's one of the perks to get you to take the job in the first place. But if you had like a phone that would just like slide into a computer, like a shell of like a little laptop, that, it didn't have any other components or anything except a battery and a power cord and maybe some USB ports. And you just slide it in, and then when it clicks, it just immediately turns into your quote unquote desktop, and then you can use it, the keyboard and all that, because that's kind of what like Asus has a laptop that does that. It's really cheap. I think it's like $250 or something. But you need the phone, and you slide the phone in, and then it functions like a laptop. And I feel like that is a, I feel like there's some potential there, and I feel like the Librem could capitalize on that. Like, there's always a chance, you never know.
Right.
So, but as far as everything goes with the Librem, I am very impressed with the way they're going. And I'm also glad that I'm picking one of the later deliveries, even though I won't probably get it till next year, just because it'll have more of the hardware issues ironed out. Because software issues are one thing, but you can't really just get new hardware.
So they said that their hardware is like, besides the heat pipe and the switch, the actual switches, everything else is pretty much done. The thing about the switches is, like, right now, in order to shut off stuff, you have to switch the switch to the up position, and they want to have it so switching down is off.
Okay.
So they're
that's
kind of
minor. I don't care about
around.
that, but I do want the heat sinks. I don't like thermal throttling, man.
Yeah. Well, the heat sink, according to him, is going to be in birch.
Nice.
Getting birch in there is going to be.
I'm getting one of the later ones anyway, though. I already,
Yeah.
I don't remember which one I picked, but it's one of the way later ones, which is fine. I have no issues with that. Like, whatever. Like, you'll have one, so whatever.
Yeah.
And I still have my Samsung. It's not like my Samsung's going to go anywhere.
Right. Dude, so I tried. Oh, so the other thing is, we didn't actually place a call with this because he had a T-Mobile an AT&T SIM in it, and there are no AT&T towers anywhere nearby here.
And I doubt they have any deals with Verizon.
No, well, so I took the SIM out of my phone, but the SIM in my phone will just randomly disappear from my phone even when it's plugged in, and like
why?
I don't know. Like, if you look at my SIM card, it's pretty much destroyed. I've had this SIM card for maybe 8 years, and I've had multiple phones through there, and a couple of the phones that I've had, in order to remove the SD card, you also had to remove the SIM card. So it's got a lot of wear and tear on it. I mean, I've had the SIM for forever. So also, I actually had this SIM in a phone. It used to be a mini, and I trimmed it down to a micro, so it doesn't quite fit in the SIM tray. And so when I put it in the Librem 5, which he was totally cool with me doing, it just it did not register because it's a piece of crap SIM card. So unfortunately, we couldn't place a call or anything like that. But
that's a bummer.
Yeah, he showed me that he has placed calls on he had 2 Librem 5s with him, and he showed me he has placed calls on the other ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have no doubt that it works. You
Yeah.
know, you just in one of those. You should really go to your Verizon store and ask for another SIM card. By the way, you should show them that thing and be like, "Can I have another one?"
Well, I don't. It's not Verizon. It's TracFone. Maybe that's why too. I'm not sure exactly, but it didn't even register. It the device couldn't even see it because it was such a damaged. If you look at the contacts on it, they're scratched off basically.
Yeah.
So
you should still request a new SIM though.
Yeah, I have to call somebody to get one.
Yeah, you should do that for your own sake.
Yeah.
Particularly considering you'll be moving soon.
Yeah,
You
well,
want your phone to be working.
I think I'm probably just gonna switch carriers when I move. But
might as well just switch now.
Well, they don't have them here.
Well, I mean, it depends on what carrier you're going. If you're going with Verizon, Verizon exists down there.
I was thinking Ting, something like that.
Ugh.
No? Okay.
They exist around here, but they piggyback off the T-Mobile network.
Yeah.
So I don't really like them. I hate T-Mobile.
Okay.
I miss my old carrier. My old carrier was awesome because it piggybacked off T-Mobile and Sprint, but it had its own regional towers. And by regional, I mean it covered most of the state of Virginia. And then Sprint bought them. And then, Sprint just sucks. There's a reason I avoided Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile all those years. Yeah. Sucks, man. But they honored my contract. I have unlimited data with no throttling because it's in my contract. So they've honored my contract so far.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising. It's probably easy to honor considering I don't use data that much, but yeah. There was only one instance where they throttled me, and I called them and was like, my contract states that there's no throttling. They looked it up, and they had to, I don't know what they had to contact their supervisor and stuff. Like, what are they going to do? It's a contract. They agreed to it. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Nice.
They're like, probably got put on a list. Get rid of as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, one person probably don't make much of a dent anyway.
No. Probably not.
Especially considering I use less than 3 gigabytes of data. But that's what my old carrier was like, man. They didn't throttle. They also my old carrier also had free unlimited hotspot, so I have free unlimited hotspot as well.
Oh, cool.
Which
I'm hoping that I can do that with this. Like, I know that it's probably not there yet. Like, at least not in the physical, or in the it's in the hardware. I don't think it's in the software yet. But like, that'll be cool.
The problem is hotspotting is so expensive.
What? No, it isn't. It never was for me.
Depends on which carrier you
It
have.
depends on
Most
what
carriers,
phone you have. Because in my last phone, I could mobile hotspot for free. I didn't have to pay extra. It just worked. I just hit the button and it did it.
Yeah,
and then
you haven't been with Verizon or T-Mobile or Sprint because they charge you for hotspots.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing is like I don't remember what my last phone was. It was like an LG G4 maybe. And then
Bunch of dicks.
And it worked. Like I could just hotspot, no problem. Didn't have to pay extra for it. Then when I got this freaking stupid Google phone, it's like, oh, you're not authorized by your carrier to hotspot. So you have to pay extra for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's see. Verizon gives you unlimited mobile hotspot, but you only get up to, depending on which plan you have, up to 30 gigabytes of 4G LTE. Then it drops down to 3G.
Yeah.
On the other hand, considering where you're moving to, I believe the area you're moving to has 5G. So if you could get a 5G modem, you could just get 5G tacked on.
I don't want 5G. 5G is gross. I think 5G is like gonna be awful.
If I had the option for 5G, I'd have the option for 5G. Like almost 1 Gbit in my phone. Yeah, bring it.
I don't see that.
I would love that. I would
Diminishing
love that.
returns. I don't know.
It shouldn't be diminishing returns. It can handle a huge load. Downside is the tower radius is pretty small. So
Yeah.
you have to have a lot of towers, but that's fine. Whatever. It's that is not my problem. That is their problem.
Well, it is your problem too, because like think about how much it costs to support that infrastructure. I don't know.
Less
it just seems,
actually requires less equipment, and towers don't have to be as big.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's
anyway,
weird.
I don't know. What do you guys
5G's
think?
nice, man. Even if it is all radiated.
Yeah, right. What do you guys think about the Librem 5? Did you watch my video? Do you have any questions that I didn't get to in that video? Let me know in the forums. Forum.heavyelement.io. And then there's also show@offtopical.net. All right, dude. So Blizzard is under scrutiny.
So is Apple, the NBA, Nike.
Yeah. So basically, this is a honest to goodness, spineless corporation showdown, because these companies, the Blizzard and the NBA and all these other companies, have basically totally kneeled before the Chinese president, the Emperor of China, as we call him. Winnie the Pooh. And
look at that, we're getting banned in China now.
Yeah, we are. And the reason that they're doing this is because they want to make money in China. How spineless, how disgusting do you have to be to not stand up for freedom of speech, to not stand up for people in Hong Kong who are like literally about to be slaughtered? I don't even know, dude.
Or even just the Chinese people themselves, man. They're all oppressed.
Right.
They don't even know it. They've been brainwashed. And that's I guess that's the big problem, right? Because like if you look at Activision Blizzard, which is the name of the company, by the way, it is not Activision. It is Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Technically, that is the name. They only make about 10% of their revenue from China, which, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money. Like 10% of your whole company's profit comes from, or revenue, sorry, not profit, revenue, comes from one country, that's pretty cool. Except like the USA's is like 30% or so, and Europe is the rest, and South Korea is another big chunk. But they just kind of like are like eh. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but during the Hearthstone tournament that takes place in the United States, a bunch of college kids held up free Hong Kong signs, and Blizzard didn't do anything to them because it wasn't being aired in China.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like Tencent owns part of Activision. It's like I think it's a 5% stake in Activision, and it's like that's probably why. Like, it's because they're these state corporations like Tencent own part of the parent company of Blizzard. It's like, dude, I can't believe how spineless these companies are. And then the NBA, the Houston Rockets are owned in part by, or no, they're not. What was his name? The basketball player from China.
I don't remember. I don't know his name.
Houston Rockets. I gotta look it up now. Oh my god. I don't know. Yao Ming, that's his name. Yao Ming, the really tall Chinese guy.
I know he is. I just don't know his name.
Yeah. So he was playing for the Houston Rockets, and when what's his name, the general manager tweeted out in support of Hong Kong, the Chinese government was like, "Hey, you guys better stop. NBA and Houston Rockets better stop doing that, because the Houston Rockets are like big in China because Yao Ming used to play for them." So it's like, I don't understand why these companies are letting
China gives them free money. China gives them free money. They don't have to do anything. China just gives them money.
They don't have to do anything. So they get money now so that later they don't have any freedom to speak out or do anything other than...
That's exactly how it works.
Dude. Pay attention, guys. Like,
honestly,
the
United States should pass a law that restricts foreign
investment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, they can't buy more than a certain percentage of a U.S. company, and we should be like New Zealand and all the other countries that just outright forbids foreigners and foreign companies from owning property or anything in the United States. They have to lease it. They don't own it.
Interesting.
That's what China does. Foreigners can't buy land in China. You can lease it. You can't buy it.
That's fascinating.
So I think before anyone goes, "Oh, that's so wrong," it's like, well, that's what they do.
See, part of me like thinks that that's a good idea. I think that it's probably a really bad idea to allow Chinese companies, which most of them are like wholly owned, if not controlled by the Chinese government, to come in here and buy a stake in American companies. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Well, I'm not sure if you saw, and I know how you feel about Trump, but did you see Trump killed a deal from a few years ago during the Obama administration with a Chinese company? I forget the name of the company, but there's a port in California. I forget the name of the port. It's the second biggest port in North America. I think the largest one is actually in New York, which is interesting. Anyway, a Chinese company bought the rights to that port, and Obama approved it. I don't know why Obama approved that. I would not have approved a Chinese company owning the second largest port in North America, but okay. Trump killed the deal using like some 70s law or whatever, just took it away from him and gave it to a U.S. corporation.
Fascinating.
Yep. I mean, they still had to pay for it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who would sit there and be like, nah, we're a shipping company, and this big port that we tried to bid on but couldn't get, nah, we're not going to take it. Yeah, right, sure, they jumped on it, probably like slobbering all over the floor trying to get that thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he took it away from them. And, it's funny because that port is that's where a lot of, like, the Chinese knockoff goods and stuff flow into from, as well as fentanyl and all that other stuff. And they just sealed it off. It's clearly part of his strategy to strangle him in the trade wars by taking control that they once had away from him to give him a higher negotiation point at the table. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think any country should give up control of one of their ports. particularly to a country they're not friendly with.
Right. It doesn't make any
just-
sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all.
I don't know. Yeah. What do you guys think about this story? I don't know what else we can say about it, really. Let us know in the show notes.
Free Hong Kong?
Yeah, free Hong Kong, man. Free Hong Kong. Let us know in the show notes, forum.heavyelement.io. Yeah. Also free Tibet and free Taiwan. Because I really want to get banned in China.
Oh, Taiwan, I will never recognize Taiwan as part of China. But
No.
even though that's where the original government actually is now. But
You know that they actually, the Chinese government actually went after Marriott hotels for recognizing Taiwan as a different country on their website. Like, that's how insane this is getting.
I would have just went middle finger. I just pulled out of China. You know, it's funny because we'll keep talking about this for a minute, but because here's the thing, because I've seen a lot of people who are like, well, why don't we just pull out? Why doesn't Apple just cave in? And I'm like, because the U.S. doesn't have electronic manufacturing anymore.
Yeah.
China does, and just moving your entire base is not, even for a company like Apple, it's not easy.
Right.
Like it's not easy. It's not an easy task. However, what Apple should do, and this would be the smart move, in my opinion anyway, comply with China for now, because you don't have a choice. But then what I would do is I would start building manufacturing in either other countries or even in your home country. Like China is building a new plant in Texas to build the iMac. The Mac Pro and some other stuff. Start moving your resources out of China so that when you're no longer dependent on China, then you can just go do whatever you want. And if they complain, who cares? Because that's the thing. Like, China's a manufacturing company. So while they can strong arm as much as they want, companies can move, and they are moving. And that's a big problem because that's how China makes all their money. So, like, China has to play a careful game too. Like, it's a very, it's like balancing a table on a pencil.
Right.
It's if they make the wrong move, they can, their side can collapse. But on the other hand, if they make all the right moves, they can make everyone else collapse. So it's a like anything else in life, it's just a risk.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to see where we end up with.
Yep.
I'm hopeful that it all ends well, because I loathe the Chinese government, and if they do ban us in China, I hope they send us like an official letter so I can frame it on my wall.
I know, right?
That I'm
That'd be
banned
nice.
in China. But with that said, I don't really have anything against the Chinese people, and I think that's a very important distinction that people can't seem to grasp. That you hate China, so therefore you hate the people. Like,
well,
no,
it's like when some Europeans
people you don't know.
Yeah, it's like some Europeans, and not all, but some of them have said, "Oh, I hate the American government, therefore F you, Gardner." I'm like, dude, I didn't do it. It's not like whatever, man. Like, shut up.
Yeah, the government.
The government
100% of every country does not represent the people.
Right, exactly.
I don't care what anyone says on that. There's no country out there where their government has the people's interest at heart, and all you have to do is open up a newspaper and look.
All right. Well, we can disagree on that, but yeah, let us know in the show notes what you think. Forum.heavyelement.io. All right. System 76 has started shipping Coreboot as the default BIOS on Galago Pro and Darter Pro lines. What do you think about this story, Raven?
I think it's pretty cool. That means that Purism has basically caught up to Purism. System 76 has caught up to Purism as far as because they already disabled Intel's ME service or hardware, whatever, as best they could, which is what Purism has done. They don't have hardware switches yet, but them putting in Coreboot, by default, catches them pretty well up there with, with Purism, which is great. Like, it's a good start, and they've been trying to do this for such a long time.
Yeah. Does Purism ship Coreboot, or do they ship something else?
No, I'm pretty certain Purism ships Coreboot. I'm fairly certain
Oh.
Purism ships Coreboot. Yeah, they
All right.
they that's one reason
Yep.
why Purism laptops are really expensive for the hardware they come with, because they can't really have certain, they can only have certain pieces of hardware in their systems.
Well, so Coreboot actually allows for proprietary blobs.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like, it's not perfect, and it
Right.
has to be there.
But it's better. I mean, I'm not saying that because I think that it's crap. I think that it's cool that we can still have open source BIOS. We can dump the entirely proprietary BIOS that was on offer.
Yeah, shame we still have UEFI.
Yeah.
But it's a start.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a good start. It's better to have that than not to have it at all, and I think it's fantastic. I was expecting a big hardware announcement, honestly, like an AMD laptop or something, even though AMD's laptop hardware is still not really the greatest. But, I was expecting something like that, but that wasn't what I was expecting, but I wasn't disappointed, though. Like, it's a good start in the right direction as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
That's the best thing, right? Like, System 76 is a small company. They can't make rapid changes like, Dell or Intel or any other company because they don't make as much money. But they're taking it one step at a time. I mean, this is like, it's really funny because I think I got my first System 76 laptop in 2012 or 2013, something like that. And I've been getting them periodically ever since then. And they've just changed so much. They went from being this neat little vendor with this simple little website to, like, they make real products now, like actual products that have like their own life to it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see where they've come after all these years.
Yep.
And they actually hold true to their value. Like, they're not as old as Google, but they're actually a pretty old company. Like, they're only like 6 or 7 years younger than Google, and they haven't abandoned their core values. They might disagree with what some other people do or say, but they haven't abandoned their core values, which is very important.
Yeah.
Like, you can think whatever you want. That's fine, but abandoning your core values, to me, is just bad business.
Yeah, and it has to do with leadership. I mean, Carl, from the CEO, he's a genuine guy. Like, he knows what he is doing. He knows what he believes. He knows what's right, and he follows that. And that's really important. That's what you need when you're doing, like, when you're operating in the free and open source world. Like, you have to know what your values are, and that's really important. And I just want to congratulate them because System 76 are freaking cool. Like, everybody that works there, everyone I've met every time I've been there has just been amazing. Like, if you like, like-minded people, geeks, free software enthusiasts, then you would like everybody that works at System 76 because they are all nerds, and it's really, really cool to see. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of their company and their mission and their products. So cool. Good on you guys. What do you guys think about the Coreboot launch here? Are you interested in adding a, flashing your thing, or you want to get an actual machine direct from System 76 with Coreboot installed? Let us know in the show notes, forum.heavyelement.io. All right, Valve have a new thing coming out called Remote Play Together. Have you heard about this?
I did. I saw it a while ago, actually, thanks to being a Steam developer.
Nice.
I saw it appear, and I was like, oh my god. I mean, it basically appeared almost roughly the same time it appeared more towards the public. But it did pop up there a little bit earlier, and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing.
Yeah. So,
like, this is, because I don't know if you know this, but the PlayStation has a similar feature, like the exact same feature, actually.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the PlayStation 4 has a feature where, like, you can invite your friends. It's a very much unused feature that I actually hope keeps going in the PlayStation 5. So what it is it's called SharePlay. And, like, if you're stuck at a certain point, you can invite your friend to join you. And they don't even have to own the game or anything. And they just accept the link, and they can take over and they can play. And the cool thing about SharePlay is you can use it to play local co-op games across the internet together.
Nice.
And that's basically what Valve's Remote Play, except it doesn't have any restrictions. There are some like very specific restrictions with Sony's SharePlay for whatever reason. So like there's a couple like moments where it's like very, it's annoying because, they just have some artificial limitations that don't make any sense, but as Valve being Valve, they don't. And unlike another store whose sole saving grace is the fact that it only takes 12% and has no other features, doesn't even have a shopping cart, Valve is innovating.
Yeah.
And they're constantly innovating, and they don't stop innovating. I love them for that. Like, Valve might be slow, but I will say this. If there's one thing that Epic Games did, is it made Valve start developing again. And I think that's, one, very nice, and also kind of scary. Because now Valve is actually doing stuff again. And you don't want the guy who doesn't answer to China. Sorry, Timmy, but I don't care what you say. They own 40%, and they're allowed to elect people to the board. They have a say. So, actually, technically they own 48%, actually, because the owner of Tencent owns 8% personally. So, 48%. Timmy still owns the bulk, so he can veto anything. But since they can elect people to the board, they have a say. Don't let Timmy lie to you, people. He's a liar. Well, in my opinion, I should say. In my opinion, he is lying to everyone. Because he shouldn't. He's obfuscating the truth. He technically tells the truth, but he's obfuscated it in such a clever, sneaky little way that it annoys me. I just wish he'd be honest.
Yeah.
Or more honest, I should say. But anyway, back to Valve. So Valve is innovating probably because, one, Epic could be a real threat to them. Not now, but in the future. And, like, that's a real feature. Like, I don't care what Timmy says. People don't want that sort of stuff. Like hell. I mean, we both play, like, there are some games that you play that me and you can now play together because they only have local co-op.
Right. And local co-op's, like, the only way I like multiplayer.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically it's going to be streamed online, so it should be exactly the same. But, yeah, I mean, sure, whatever.
I mean, being able to play, like, Towerfall Ascension with friends over the internet, that's going to be interesting.
That's the game I was thinking of when I said it.
Yeah. See, Towerfall is, like, such a delicious game. I love it. And so basically what this is, I don't know if we actually explain what this is. So what this will allow is, according to Valve, all local multiplayer, local co-op, and split-screen games will be automatically available in the remote play together beta, and it will allow your screen of the game to be captured and streamed to your friend, and their input will be sent back, and you'll be able to play the game with them. That's just awesome. That makes me so excited, dude. Like,
you know what's crazy? So, Valve has streaming, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist on Linux, which means hopefully this will finally bring that streaming to Linux.
Wait, it doesn't exist? I've used it on Linux.
The streaming?
Yeah.
You can stream games now to Valve Stream, like someone can right click you and watch game. I didn't realize that was a thing finally.
I don't know about that, but I can stream, like, I have streamed from my server to my TV the game that I'm playing.
Yeah. But I'm talking about Valve's live streaming thing doesn't exist, which is basically all this is, except it also allows you to attach input. It's basically like Stadia, but for one person.
Right.
What's interesting is a few weeks ago I was watching a friend stream, and we noticed that there was no delay, which is odd because there's always been a delay. And we also noticed that in some cases it would run at 60 frames a second, which was also odd. Huh. And Valve's been having issues with their network going down and stuff, which means they're probably prepping for this thing. Well, we noticed that instead of it routing the video traffic through Valve services, it was just doing direct. And,
like WebRTC direct?
Well, I don't know. They don't use WebRTC probably. They probably use something more low level.
Okay.
Since, they don't use JavaScript for that. But essentially, yes. They're directly sending it from, like, let's say we were to play remote play. Like, they were directly sending it from my computer to your computer. Or in the case, it was coming straight from his computer straight to mine. There was no transcoding or routing or anything. Which is interesting because it killed the latency from like 150 milliseconds to like 20, which is that's a big deal. But it only does that when there's only one other person, and I was like, that is genius. So I'm wondering if that was prep work for this.
Maybe, yeah,
and
probably.
Just no one noticed. Like no one noticed, that sort of thing.
Right. That's really cool and super clever. Like Valve, like that's the thing. Like a lot people give them crap because they've really only focused on Steam for a long time, and Steam has stagnated for a while as well. But like
they have.
But now Valve are like doing this kind of stuff, and they are working on their VR stuff and like the game, which is probably Half-Life. If it's not Half-Life 3, it's a Half-Life VR experience. So, I mean, this is pretty cool, and I really like Valve again. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this story? Are you excited to be able to play local multiplayer games with your friends over the internet?
Yes.
Let us know what you think. Forum.heavyelement.io. You can also hit us up on Twitter. I'm at the Linux Gamer. He's at Raven67854. All right, Raven. So this is a story that I suspect you're going to be a little curmudgeon-y about. Microsoft, Microsoft have added a dedicated emoji key to its new keyboards. Also, an Office key. What the hell's that about? Yeah. So I really think that this is going to be cool. I'm a big fan of emojis, as I'm sure you're aware. Smiley face, laughing emoji face, winky, winky. Listen to this, the silence speaks volumes, my friend.
I don't like emojis. You know this.
Emojis
I hate
are the future.
No, they are not the future, Gardner. They're stupid.
Emojis
They've been
are the
stupid
future.
forever. No, they're not. No, they're not. You know what was the future? MSN Messenger with its custom emojis, and I had like 500 custom emojis that were amazing. You know what you can't do now? Custom emojis on any platform.
Discord, if you own the server.
And if you pay for it.
You have to pay for it?
You have to pay to use them outside of your server.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's
stupid.
True.
That
like
is
everything.
Dumb.
Everything costs money, and I'm like, it used to be free, and they still made money. So, it's mind-boggling to me.
So, I'm not 100% sure how the emoji key is going to work. Do you have any ideas how this is going to work?
No, my guess is either you click it and it pops up. It's like a shortcut to pop up a little emoji thing, because Windows 10 has an emoji thing built in. I don't remember how to pull it up, but you can pull it up. So my guess is it pulls that up, or you hit the emoji key, and then you hit one of the keys that corresponds to an emoji that you may be assigned to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, it's stupid, and it should go away.
No, dude. I think it's cool.
It's disgusting.
So actually, I'm looking at, if you scroll down on the page to the first actual image, not the header image. You can see that I don't know if this is like a European layout or something, but this is different from the @ symbol is above the apostrophe, and the hash and the tilde are on the right by the return key, and the broken bar and backslash are on the left by the shift key. So I don't know what kind of layout
I think it's because
this looks like a British layout because it's got a pound and a euro.
It's the British layout.
Okay.
I just saw that and I was like, yeah, it must be the British layout.
Yeah. Okay, that's
because it has the dollar sign and the British pound
and a euro.
Makes sense, I guess. I didn't see the euro, but
it's on the 4 key.
That's the dollar sign, dude. Oh no, yeah. But you have to hit the Alt. Probably GR key in order to access that, so it's probably a pain in the butt, like everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I want emojis. I like emojis. I wish that like I had a keyboard with an LCD behind every key, and you could hit the emoji key, and then it would like change all the keys to emojis, and then you could like bang out an emoji sentence. I love emojis, dude. I think they're so much fun, dude. It gives like emotional context to plain, boring, unstyled text, and that's why I like it.
Yeah.
Shut up! Don't judge me.
I'm not saying anything. I haven't said a word.
I know you haven't, and you're judging me.
The judgment is very silent, but it is definitely there. That I will agree. It's there.
Let's see. I'm going to read a little bit of this. So, the Office key is a shortcut to launch Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and more. Office key plus W opens Word. Office key plus X opens Excel. If you hit the emoji key, it will launch the emoji picker in Windows 10. Why isn't there an actual like good emoji picker for GNOME or for Linux in general?
I don't know. GNOME has one.
It does, but I never remember how to open it. Do you know how to open it?
No.
Open GNOME emoji picker. Oh, it's an extension? I don't know.
Probably won't be built in until they finish it and finalize it. It may never be built in. Hopefully it's never built in.
I hope the Librem 5's keyboard has emojis. That's something I didn't even think to check. Oh, why didn't I check that? It's probably not there yet.
Oh, there are miracles.
All right. Well, we'll be done with this story then if it's making you that uncomfortable, Raven.
It's not making me uncomfortable. I just don't understand why people get so hyped and amped about an emoji.
Because emojis are fun, dude. They're fun. Come on.
You send me emojis all the time. I never even know what to say. Never know what to say whenever you
How
send me
about you
emoji.
reply back with a winky face for once?
Is there an emoji that has a middle finger? Because I would use that
there
a lot.
is. Hold on.
On Discord?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm going to find it later.
Well, hold on. I'm actually going to send it to you. Middle. There you go.
Well, there we go.
And that's actually in Unicode.
Nice. See? Perfect. Now I have something that will make everyone understand how I feel in that moment.
All right. What do you guys think about emojis? What do you think about this new keyboard layout standard that Microsoft are trying to push? Let us know in the forums, forum.heavyelement.io. You can also send us an email, show@offtopical.net. Nvidia is joining the Blender Foundation as a patron, or the Blender Foundation Development Fund as a patron. Give me the backdrop on this story, my friend.
So, Nvidia surprised everyone by joining the Blender Foundation's Development Fund, which is cool because they funded 2 people. To get the patron level, you have to give 120,000 euros or more of money every year. And Nvidia is smack up there with Epic Games supporting Blender. I think everyone's done with Autodesk at this point.
Good. Yeah. Blender is so powerful and so good. I love it. And it's open source, man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it, as you know. I wish like Ubuntu and Steam would bump up. I understand Ubuntu not being able to bump up because Ubuntu barely makes enough money as it is. But Valve makes a lot of money, so Valve should go from a corporate silver to a patron, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As should Ubisoft and Intel, Google. AMD probably can't give patron level because, AMD definitely is making money now, but they have a lot of back debt from like 10 years of barely getting by.
Yeah.
So AMD should continue to focus on just making money and surviving and building the coffers back up again. But if they should give whatever they can, because I mean, honestly, we gotta strangle Autodesk. Like, it's really funny, right? Like, you look at most like model and animation software, it's Autodesk and Blender, and then a few other outliers. But it's basically just Autodesk and Blender, and I'm amazed that no one has taken offense to that. It's kind of like how everyone basically just uses Adobe Photoshop. I know there's like Corel Paint and all this other stuff, and there are a couple competing applications that are appearing that are actually starting to take people away from Photoshop. But no one makes something that can directly compete with Photoshop. The only reason people are leaving is because people are like tired of all the problems that are associated with Adobe Cloud, and the cost of it and everything else. And anyway, I guess my point is I'm surprised no one's ever taken like any real offense. And I don't mean just people, I mean like governments, because they own a whole market.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally a monopoly. And no one cares. They just keep buying their competitors. It's like, this is unreal. Like, I remember back before they bought XSI was getting really popular. Like, Crytek and stuff used it a lot. And it was a very popular tool. And then Autodesk bought it, kept it running for like 2 or 3 years, something like that. I don't know if it's still running or not. But they took all the features and they merged it into 3ds Max and Maya. Which is cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Except now you have to go to Autodesk, which meant the price went up.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that like Blender is open source is really it's really important, because you know, you have like the ability to use this code, use this software for free, and it lets the company that develops it, the Blender Foundation, like work without fear of, you know, Autodesk wanting to come in and like kind of screw this stuff up. So, and there's a ton of these companies. Like I'm looking at their website right here. There's a ton of companies like Nvidia and Epic Mega Grants are top patrons, and then you have Ubisoft, Google, Steam. I'm sure you were looking at this page as well.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I don't know who David Jeske is, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's no even link for David Jeske.
No, there's nothing. I think it's just the person who happens to have a lot of money, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you know, the other thing is, too, they also offer individual memberships. So if you like and use Blender, you can actually you can pledge your support to Blender for as little as $6 a month, according to this. That's really awesome. I personally don't use Blender a whole lot, so I don't know if I could do that. But if you use it, consider it.
Exactly. And I mean, they're up to like $95,083 a month, and then when they hit $115,000 a month, they're going to 20 developers. Because remember, this is just the money that they get from donations and stuff. They still get money from like the government, various governments. So
grants, yeah,
and various other grants that are even associated from like private foundations and stuff. So like Blender is a real competitor now, and 2.8 is just wow. Like 2.8 is just incredible.
I would love to see
overdue.
Like a feature-length Blender Foundation film.
It would be pretty cool. Because it's funny to think that Blender in its heyday, not even heyday, because I guess it's technically in its heyday right now, but like back in the early 90s, you know, it was a very competitive piece of software.
I didn't know it's been around that long.
It used to be a commercial software. It used to be commercial software.
Oh.
Yeah. Way back in the day. Like, way back in the day. It used to be commercial software.
Initial release, January 1st, 1998. But is that before they...
That was when it went open source.
Okay.
I think it was called something else back then. It was much more in-house, and I don't really remember what it was called. It might have been called Blender, but initially it was released in 1995, and it was an in-house piece of software built for I think CGI platforms. Like, it has quite a history, but it goes further back than that. I think the earliest date in the source code is 1994, something like that.
Okay.
It's old.
Version 1.0 was released January 1995, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember it. I remember reading in one of, because I have a bunch of Blender books,
Yeah.
and I remember reading in the books like a history on it, and yeah, it's from like way back then. Because he used to have his own animation studio, and that was back in the mid '90s when there really wasn't just like a generic modeling software. I mean, they did exist probably, but 3D modeling was just becoming a thing, so there really wasn't much out there. So they built their own system and software.
Yeah.
Because that was the cheapest option at the time to get what they needed and what they wanted. And that's where it all started. And then, it went well for a few years. And then I think the business failed. And they got the license to their software. And they released it as Blender. And here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the origin story. But everyone pretty much knows how it went from there to here now. So, and it's evolved a lot too. Like it's added a lot of features over the years. I remember when it used to get updates like every couple months, and I would be so excited for like the next update that added new features. And now it takes a long time between updates, pretty much. Particularly between 2.79 and 2.8, because it was such a rewrite. Like they rewrote everything almost. So much stuff was rewritten.
Nice.
But it had to be done.
It's supported on Haiku.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Blender, there was a port of Blender for iPhones a couple years ago. Someone had ported Blender to I think it was iPad, but iOS. Someone had made a demo of it running on iOS. It never went anywhere. Like it was never released or anything, but the person made a demo. I think there's been demos on Android as well before. Nothing official, but
cool.
it's officially supported on Haiku. Well, I don't know if it's officially, but there is Haiku maintains a up-to-date branch of Blender. Doesn't run that well because Haiku doesn't have GPU drivers, but it does work just fine. Like it's functionally, it's all there. It's just, again, modeling software is very demanding when you're trying to make something that's real, and well,
Yeah. I don't see a Haiku download on there.
No, you have to get it from the Haiku software store.
Yeah. But that's really cool. Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that it's cool that Nvidia is supporting them? I think it's really awesome. Let us know in the show notes, forum.heavyelement.io. You can also find links to all the stories we're talking about in the show notes. All right, the last story of the day, my friend. This was another one that you added.
I added quite a few this week, I have to say.
You did the Nvidia story and you did this one. What was the other one you added? Or is that it?
I don't remember. No, I think it was the Valve's Remote Play. I don't remember.
Oh yeah. So yeah, cool. So this open source game, Valoran, is made in Rust. Tell me a little bit about this game.
So their website is it doesn't explain anything at all about the game. Developers, if for some reason you happen to be listening to this podcast, make your website more than just a timeline of blog posts. Get an about page, get a nice front page. It's nice already. It's got a good layout. It's just you need to say more about it, because most people don't want to just read the individual blog posts.
So if you click manual, it shows what is Valoran.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the most intuitive thing. But the game itself is an open... You ever heard of Cube World? It's a game that came out in like 2012, 2013, then disappeared for 6 years, and then it came out again. And everyone got really excited, like, oh, it's not dead. He was working on it. It's basically like Cube World, except it's open source.
Cool. And so according to this, it's a multiplayer voxel RPG written in Rust. It was inspired by games such as Cube World, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Dwarf Fortress, and Minecraft. And it definitely looks a bit like Minecraft. It's fully open source under the GPL, GPL3 uses original graphics, music, and other assets created by its volunteer community. That's pretty cool. So it's an RPG. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah. So it is very neat. Frank, who I'm sure you know who Frank is, if he hasn't seen this game, and I'm surprised if he hasn't, he would probably really like this game because he loves Cube World.
Yeah. I just got a weird thing. Do I have Twitch open for some reason? I just heard like Twitch. I don't know what just happened, but Twitch. I just heard like somebody like pledged money to my Twitch or something weird. Anyway, that was very strange. Came through
Fascinating.
I might be going crazy, dude. Okay. So,
well, I mean, there's no place better to go crazy than the Off Topical Podcast. It's okay. If you foam at the mouth, I will, put you down. It's okay. I will take care of you.
Yeah.
I'll bury you on the highest hill under a nice oak tree.
Oh, thank you, dude.
You're welcome, man.
I want a natural burial. Or
naturally,
cremation. Cremation.
Oh, yes. I will burn you in a massive, pyre, just huge. Everyone will see it. It'd be like a massive beacon for miles. People are like, what is that? And it would be like, Gardner is being buried.
Oh, man. So, all right, this is pretty cool. So you can download this through their website. Let's see. Can you?
I believe so, yes.
The download page. Releases. Here we go. Here we go. You can download it here. Cool. I think I'm going to give this a try. I'm not a huge fan of RPGs though. What are the RPG elements of this?
I haven't actually played it yet because I haven't had an opportunity to. I wanted to play it some this weekend. Okay. But it's basically an RPG, as far as I know. If it's anything like Cube World, it's not the most hardcore of RPGs. Mm-hmm. So like you level up, but you don't necessarily like assign stats and stuff. So I haven't played Cube World in a while. The new Cube World might actually allow you to assign stats, but who knows? But if it is like Cube World, it should be pretty fun. Because Cube World was actually pretty darn fun.
I don't think I've tried Cube World either.
No, you probably haven't because it's Windows only technically. Even though it's written in OpenGL and everything, it's technically Windows only.
What compels people to not use open standards? I just don't understand that.
I mean, that's the thing. It uses only open source stuff. That's the best part about Cube World.
Yeah.
He just doesn't compile it for Linux.
Weird.
Like, there's nothing in Cube World that, at least from the dependencies that I can see from Cube World, that actually mean, like, oh, this would be a challenge on Linux. Now, it might work differently on Linux because, different drivers, at least in... NVIDIA uses the same driver stack on Windows and Linux. So NVIDIA pretty much always works the same. But AMD, on the other hand, has two different driver stacks for some reason. I do not understand why. Because the AMD's Linux OpenGL stack is way better than their one on Windows.
Yeah.
It's just the way they do things. So, you got all those issues. And then Intel's doing whatever on earth Intel's doing. Like, Intel's OpenGL drivers are terrible on Windows. But on Linux, they're superb. Again, have no idea what's with that.
Well, don't they... I mean, isn't AMD and Intel... Aren't they, like... Their code bases are entirely different between Windows and Linux?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's what's so weird. Like, why wouldn't they just share the OpenGL portion? Because, OpenGL is OpenGL. Yes, obviously how you interface with the operating system is going to be different, but, how the card handles and renders OpenGL is platform agnostic. It doesn't care. Mm-hmm. It's the hardware doing it. So why you wouldn't just NVIDIA reuses that whole code base. The downside is that when NVIDIA has a problem, it affects both platforms. So, which I guess is good or bad, because usually it means if it affects Windows, it gets fixed. Although, in fairness, NVIDIA does a pretty good job at updating their Linux drivers. Despite all the crap they get, they actually do support Linux fairly well.
Yeah.
They just don't give a flying crap about Wayland. And on the one hand, I sort of get why, because no one uses Wayland. Like, why would they invest time and money into something that no one uses? Like, I understand that Wayland will eventually be the thing, but Nvidia is not interested in the future. They are only interested in the present, for better or worse. So it is what it is. That and the whole fiasco on how they actually interface with Wayland has finally been sorted as of last year, which is fantastic. So we don't have that problem anymore, because that was the big holdup. They didn't want to use that big blob that the Wayland people were pushing. They wanted to use EGL streams, and
yeah,
it's a clusterfuck, and it doesn't even need to be that way. People just need to sit down and do like what Lunduke says. Just be nice. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. This game looks pretty cool. I think I'm going to give this a shot.
It could definitely be worth checking out. You know, I thought about doing on LBRY, not YouTube, but on LBRY, I thought about doing like a neat little thing where, because I hate YouTube. I don't get anything from YouTube anyway. I upload stuff and lose subscribers. So to me, starting over is fine. So what I was thinking is starting up like a new series, a couple new series on LBRY, some focused around programming, but one focused around like the cool snaps and flat packs that exist that people may or may not know that exist.
Yeah.
You
Hell
know,
yeah, dude.
Starting up a nice new Linux channel.
If you actually do that, we will talk about it, and I'll promote you on this show and on my channel.
Nice. You might even have to join me one day, dude.
Hell yeah.
Because we need to bring back that lovely Saturday night streaming.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
Yeah, especially when you move. Because when you move, I'm not going to listen to your excuses anymore, just so you know, about why we can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, I'm going to pull out my parchment scroll, I'm going to roll it out, and it's going to like go all the way across the room. I'm going to clear my throat, put on my fancy old grandpa glasses, and I'm going to be like, these are the reasons why I don't care about your excuses.
Yeah. I got a lot of excuses.
You do.
Hey, I'm ranked number 5 on like the most subscribed LBRY channels.
I know. Congratulations,
pretty awesome.
man.
Number 5, dude. I'm pretty close to Lunduke too. I'm only like 700 subscribers away. And according to this list that I'm looking at right now, my channel is one of the fastest growing as well.
Yeah.
I think
it'll be hard. It will be a little hard beating Lunduke though.
Well, I mean, so according to this, in the last, I don't know what the time span is, but in the last N days, I've gained 108 followers, and Lunduke has gained 69. So I will catch up, and I will decimate his follower count. I don't know, probably not. Should be fun though. Yeah, dude. So I think that's it for this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like we're done, which is just so unfortunate. We ran out of stuff to talk about. It's just terrible. We could always go back to the China thing.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about China anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here, my friend. As always, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Love
Thanks.
the podcast.
I love the podcast. Thanks to everyone out there who listens to the show regularly. This has been the Off Topical Podcast. My name is Gardner, and let's do this again soon.